record this, we're coming into December of 2019, heading into a new decade, and it's a cliche to say it, but these are truly, truly extraordinary times. Um, the work I do is primarily energetically based, and what that means is I get to perceive currents and movements in collective fields, and then I talk about them. And what I'm seeing of late is that there is literally a new Earth birthing itself. A new version of the Earth is coming online. What this means is that there is going to be quite a lot of chaos, even more than we're experiencing at the moment. And, well, for your creations, for what it is you are wanting to give birth to in 2020 and beyond, it's going to be really important to focus into the energies of the new Earth birthing and to ensure that you are not grounded into the old Earth dying. Most of us will have a bit of both going on. So it's really important to be very clear at this point that you're moving any of your connectedness into the old Earth that's dying, and you're just switching that over to the new Earth birthing. And then you will be underpinned by this new, deeply creative, very constructive energy. And as long as what it is you're intending to give birth to is in alignment with the ideals of the new world, which are going to be about integrity and wholeness and connection, community, all of those sorts of things. As long as what you're wanting to give birth to is in alignment with that, you're going to find that it's much, much more fully funded. So that's a useful tip for where we're going now, for what is emerging. I often find that I'm amazed to be engaged in this work, and as I look back over the work I've done, I really see that there has been a movement through a lot of the big themes, the big patterns of the human condition. Much of that is now falling apart too, as we are coming into the realization of ourselves as multidimensional, as vast. And what that means is that we understand we exist on many dimensions and in many dimensions at one and the same time, that we are not limited to one body, one life. That's going to be really important, because as much as it's very, very useful to be deeply grounded in the energies of the new world birthing, it's also very important that we expand our version of ourselves out of the tiny, limited framework of one body, one life, into existing across dimensions, across many time spans and lifetimes, that we dip into and out of physical reality, but our existence never ends. If we can stabilize ourselves in that type of awareness, along with being anchored deeply into the energies of the new world birthing rather than the old world dying, then we'll find that we weather chaos and stormy seas much, much more smoothly than if we are limited to a very small version of ourselves. If we're like that, we're going to find that we are tossed around on the stormy seas of chaos, when if we have a much more expanded idea of who and what we are, that we exist across time and space, that we have many goes at what we call life in physical reality, we can take a much bigger perspective, a much wider view, and that we get to see that maybe some of the things we're hoping for or wanting won't come to pass quickly. And we've just got to hold tight and wait. But that a lot of what we are doing now is grounding frequencies in the energetic realms. Because we are frequency based, and the more dimensions of ourselves we open to, the greater the range and the bandwidth of frequency that moves through us and anchors itself here. This is how we participate in co-creating the world that we want to see, the world that we want to unfold, the world we want to exist in. It's happening now. And the wider our perspective, our view of ourselves as truly multidimensional, then the easier it becomes, and the more impact we have in these energetic realms. And energy comes before matter. It's always important to realize that. It's fine to be working at a physical level, demonstrating, writing letters, working for what it is you want to create. But from my perspective, most of my work happens in the energetic realms, and the energy underpins physical reality. So if we make changes there, then those changes will manifest. It's what healers, sages, mystics do. They work at the energetic level to create change that precipitates into physical reality. I find as I look back over time that I'm often surprised to be doing this work. I was very, very deeply wounded, disconnected. And now I look back and see that all of those patterns of wounding that I have primarily worked through have served a purpose in giving me insight, depth, awareness, compassion to some degree for the human condition, for what we are all moving through. But now we are realizing that much of that woundedness is no longer a valid way to engage with life. We can't engage with life through our old patterns of limitation and lack and woundedness. We have to engage from a place of wholeness and beauty and integrity. Again, all of that becomes so much easier when you are aware of yourself as vast and multidimensional. This is what we're heading into. Recently, I have been invited, or instructed, more like instructed to offer these or bring these higher frequencies, higher dimensions into the work I'm doing. As we do that, what I'm finding is that we open at unimaginable depths. There are layers and layers of us just unfolding. And much of this got closed down thousands of years ago at a collective level, so that we could have this deep experience of density. Now we're moving out of the fields of density. Those fields are collapsing, and we are anchoring ourselves into what is our much more permanent reality. We are, along with the earth, giving birth to that. And that's why many of us are present on the planet, is because we have specific frequencies. Each one of us is a different set of frequencies. So those frequencies, when we activate them, when we anchor them for the planet, for the collective, we begin that process of birthing the world that we want to create. We can't do it without the earth, and the earth, well, the earth could do it without us, but it would be a very different world. And that's, I believe, why we're here, to really co-create and engage the world we want to see unfolding. Take a look at some of the teleconferences on my website. You'll find that they work through a lot of the bigger themes, and now we're emerging out of the deep times of clearing and into, well, into our capacity. We're exploring our capacity to work with these big fields of energy. It's very, very exciting. I think this is how we clear up the mess we find ourselves in planetarily, and how, as I say, we go on to co-create the life, the planet, the world we want to live in.